I just got off the phone this morning with one of my coaching clients who's a health coach, and she's feeling really, really just loaded with anxiety. She is feeling like she's not sure if she's going to be able to pay her bills next month. She's feeling like she hasn't been able to sign or create a client the way she's wanted to for the last couple of months. And she was just loaded with anxiety. And she wanted to know what to do because she needed to get money fast. And I think we've all had that moment as a coach where we're like, oh shit, what am I going to do next month? And so what I did with her is what I always do, and with myself and with my other clients, is when you're feeling anxiety almost always comes from inaction. Anxiety comes from inaction. Now, let me clarify. I don't necessarily mean that she's not taking any action, but likely, and as we discovered, she was avoiding the most impactful action. So there was a lot of action that she was taking, but she was actually avoiding the actions that we had set out that would have created the most impact. So actually, when we dug a little deeper, what we actually discovered was that not only was her anxiety created by inaction, it was also being generated by her being disappointed in herself for not taking the action that she knew to be taking. So it kind of came from two different places. Now, I'm a firm believer that when you get to the heart of what's really bothering you, you're also able to get to the solution. Until you can be really honest with yourself about what you're doing and not doing, it's hard to create a solution. You end up just throwing darts in the dark. So we ended up discovering that she was actually disappointed in herself because she wasn't taking the action that we had set out for her to take, which was super small, slow action. So creating clients comes down to 4.5 simple steps. The first half step is taking bold action. So what that bold action is will depend on you and your business. In this case, the bold action was connecting one-on-one with potential clients in her groups, her Facebook groups, connecting one-on-one with people in her networking groups, reaching out to local places to do workshops, and that was it. And sending her newsletter. That was all she was supposed to be working on at the moment. And she was taking kind of like half actions and all of those things. She was on social media and she was in the groups, but she wasn't connecting with people. She was writing her newsletters and just finishing them quickly, but not sending them. She was saying, hey, how you doing at a networking group, but not really digging in to connect. And although you may be able to fool yourself in the conscious about that you're taking the action you need to be taking, but on a subconscious level, you know you're not showing up boldly. You're not showing up fully. And so it creates this weird experience where you have all this proof around you that you're taking action and nothing is happening, which proves to you that you may not be able to have a successful coaching business and pay your bills next month. And that creates all of this scarcity and anxiety. But on a deep level, it's a reality that you know you're not showing up in the way that you can be showing up, and you're not following through on the things in the way that you know you want to be following through. And so underneath that anxiety is really a disappointment in yourself for not showing up fully, not taking that bold action. So if we were to go back to my client from this morning, what we might do instead is to slow her down and remember that the bold action that you take, those reaching out to networking groups, connecting with people in Facebook groups, is really all about creating connection. That's the first piece of the 4 steps. Create that connection. Really connect with someone, that they see where you can help them and you see where you can help them. And once that connection is made, then you can move to step 2, which is the invitation. Invite them to coach with you. Have one conversation. No strings attached. And then step 3 is to create with them. Serve them in that conversation. Coach your ass off. And then 4th, if it feels like a fit, propose. Ask them to marry you as a client for a certain period of time. But it all comes back to that beginning point, like the whole leading up into that conversation about the creating, the inviting. Most of the anxiety that I see for coaches is everything leading up to the connection, the finding clients, the getting clients. And the anxiety comes from that point. So my question for you is not what action do you need to be taking, because you might be taking all kinds of action that's not creating any impact. My question for you then is actually, what's the smallest action that you could take that would create the biggest level of impact for the people that you're connecting with? Where are you talking to 10 people where you could be talking to one? Who in your network already, a friend, a coworker, someone on Facebook who's been following you, liking you, commenting on things, can you reach out to and just start a conversation? Ooh, Yelp is calling. Who you can really just dive deep with one person, slow it down, and take some bold, fearless action around that. If you're feeling anxiety, share with me below. Comment what's creating the most anxiety, and I will help you come up with the smallest, boldest, most fearless action that will create the maximum level of impact. Thanks, guys, so much. As always, I'm here to help. You've got this. You can do this. Just keep taking small, bold steps.